This meeting is being recorded.
All right. So I guess my first question will be, when did you know you wanted to get started in voice acting work? When did you for sure know?
When I got that first role as Big Ghost 24A in Triple X Holic, and then for the next few years, it was just like little things like that, like in One Piece being the Marine who goes, "Oh, it's the Straw Hats," just random little things like that. There's something called WALLA, WALLA, and it stands for With All Actors, and it's like in a restaurant scene, all the people eating forks, people chattering in the background, that's Walla. And so we have to record that. And so the way we do it at Funimation is we get 4 people in a booth and just have them all just talk at the same time. And so I would do stuff like that. And then my first named role was in 2011, I believe. Any fairy tale fans? Yes. Tyler Walker, very gratefully, I'm very grateful to him, gave me Jason the Reporter, my first named role. He's the guy that goes, "Cool it doodle doo," and is just insane. And that was so much fun. And that's when I was like, okay, until then, it was this fun little side thing, do little goofy voices here and there. But that's when I was like, this is fun. I want to be able to sink my teeth into more characters. And so after that, I more seriously pursued that.
So would you say that voice acting is your favorite of all of the various things you do?
It's definitely so. Between directing and acting, directing is fun because you get a lot of control. Like for like a movie, like a director of photography, script supervisor, casting director, like all those, there's so many different roles, but in anime, all that stuff falls under the director. And so having that control is cool. And you really are able to take ownership of a property, of a show. Like Fire Force feels like my show. But it's stressful. I have 800 actors' voices in my head while I'm casting a show. And it's just like this complex puzzle of who should go where. And just making sure you're staying in line with the translation and da-da-da and da-da-da. But when you're an actor, you just get to turn that off. And I just get to be this character. So there are good sides to both of these. But if I had to give one the edge, probably acting, for that reason, because not only am I turning off like director brain, I'm also turning off like real life for a while. I'm just Denki Kaminari right now. I'm this goofy electric wielding boy who just wants to chill and have fun. Like, it's really great. And it's really fun. But what is quickly maybe eclipsing that is being a streamer. This is a new role I did not know I was going to pursue at all until the pandemic hit. And it's been great because all these people, like fans that I've been able to interact with, like on Twitter, see at conventions and stuff. Now I play games with them like multiple times a week. And it's a lot of fun.
So that kind of leads into my next question. How does a typical day go as like a voice director, a voice actor, a Twitch streamer? How does that go for you?
Okay. A voice director is a lot more involved. Your day, it depends. If you are a staff director for Sony, your first session's at 10 a.m. So 9:40-ish, get there, set up and all that. And you just direct actors till 6 p.m. You have a lunch break and stuff. But you at the start of a show, when you get a show, you get the script for the first episode and you got to cast it. And that's kind of stuff you do on, at night or if you have time during the day. And then you send the talent coordinator and you say, I need these actors for this many hours for this episode. And then she fills up our week or 2 weeks, 10 to 6, Monday through Friday. And that's what you do. You direct actors 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. As an actor, it depends. Hopefully, or ideally, It's very up and down. Like some seasons, and anime works in seasons. You know, we're about to start the spring season, and they're 3 months. Some seasons you're the lead in a show, you're a supporting character in a show. You do little bits here and here for this show, this show, this show, and so you're working 10 to 12 hours a week. Next season, you get no work.
Oh no.
Then the season after that, you get one small role. And then the season after that, you get it's very up and down. Like it's and I hope I have never crushed any dreams, but there is a dream crushing element to the fact that like there is some misconception out there that like I'll be asked like, hey, how do I apply for the voice acting position at Funimation? It's like, that doesn't exist. I'm sorry. Being a voice actor just for anime is incredibly difficult to make a living off of. It's incredibly difficult to kind of, you can almost barely even call it side income. It's really just fun. But there are people who are actors, voice actors, and they do, in addition to anime, they do theater, they do video game voice work, they do Doritos commercials, so it's kind of this all-encompassing thing. That's actually where I met Chris Sabat, and how I got hired at Funimation was I was working at a studio downtown in downtown Dallas, and I was recording him. I think it was a Doritos commercial, and I was like, hey man, I don't want to be this guy, but your voice sounds so familiar. And he's like, yeah, Dragon Ball Z. And I was like, yeah. And he goes, oh, I'm Piccolo and Vegeta. I wish I could go that deep. He's just so effortlessly just like, hey, I have this badass voice. And so we had a great time, a great session. And he was like, hey, drop my name and send an email. And I got hired like the next day. Chris Sabat is a powerful man.
I would assume so.
Yeah.
What about as a Twitch streamer? What do you like? How does your day go when you Twitch stream?
So that is just, it's more free form. Like I have my set schedule when I actually stream. And so right now it's 3 nights a week and 1 day, Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, and then Wednesday day. But then other than that, it's a super creative thing to do, because like I'm always like, I'll have an idea and I'll rush downstairs and go to the computer, and I can try some cool stuff, or like I'll be getting set up for the next stream and like all this stuff. So it kind of varies wildly compared to either an actor or director, because it's just kind of like as inspiration strikes, like this part of it is very free form, kind of whenever I want, but then there's the set schedule part of it. So
makes sense.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Okay, so when it comes to dubbing shows, whether as a voice actor or a voice director, what is the most difficult part, and what do you enjoy the most?
Difficult. When I first kind of really started getting into voice acting, but also was at the same time transitioning from being an engineer to a director, it was really hard for me to like turn my director brain off when I would get in the booth and act. And then eventually I was like, okay, I just need to shut that off. Even if something in the back of my head's like, hold on, you would do this differently, Kyle. I need to be like, nope, it's not my show. Let me just focus on the character. So that was a little difficult at first, making that transition. But other than that, really, it's just kind of worrying about vocal fatigue is a real thing. So just being hydrated, drinking tea, having honey and tea. We have this thing we call Hulk juice. Still don't really know what it is, but it works. But actors are pretty self-deprecating in the sense that they think that if they say no, they're screwed. Like, so I once I was when I was an engineer, I was recording Jeremy Lee for Strike Witches, and we had her for a whole day. And she came in and she's like, for those who know Jeremy Lee, she's Lucy Hartfield in Fairy Tale, very high pitched, pure sounding voice. And she comes in, she's like, hey guys, I'm ready to record. And we were just like, no. And she's like, yeah, I was a little sick. And it was like, it's like, so she was afraid that if she had called and been like, I can't make it in, that it was going to look bad. It was going to look bad on her record or her record or whatever, And so that's a hard thing for voice actors to kind of get over, is like I remember I was doing a con in Dallas with Justin Briner, and he was in the middle. He had this long line. He's signing autographs, and he started to pack up. And I was like, "Where are you going?" He goes, "Oh, I got a session at Funimation." And I was like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, he's like, "Oh, I didn't want to say no and make someone mad." And I'm like, "Justin, you are the sweetest man. Say no. It's okay. They understand." Luckily, that was not something I had to worry about. Because coming from the more technical side of things, I knew that was always an option. But as a director, I don't want to. This is gonna make it sound like it's an easy job, and it's not. But like, as long as you're somewhat type A, somewhat organized, you're good. It's what's hard for people like directing. If a director gets told that they have to direct some One Piece, that director, you could just see the blood drain from their face, because it's so much. It's so many Marines, so many this, It's a lot to keep up with. But whenever they told me, I'm like, yeah, what episodes am I working on? Is it the whatever arc, and what am I working on? And they're like, oh yeah, this. Because I knew kind of the show already, and I have like my process that is it works very well for directing One Piece. So as long as you're organized, then you're good to go. And as a Twitch streamer, the hardest thing is knowing when to hit stop streaming, because I could stream till 4 a.m. without realizing it. And I have to be, guys, I'm so sorry. I have to stop. I have to go to bed. We'll play again Thursday or whatever. So that's really tough, because you can really just run away with things and just go forever and play games.
So we'll do a little self plug for you here. When is your next stream?
Well, I'm doing karaoke in my Discord server tonight. My Twitch, my tier 2 and 3 subs, we do a karaoke night once a month. So we're doing that tonight, and then tomorrow night. So say Saturday. So tomorrow's Sunday at 9:30 your time, playing Smash Bros. And if you have Smash Bros, you can play with me. So I love Smash Bros. I play it every Sunday. Oh, I think someone just followed me. Did someone just follow me?
Oh yes.
Nice. That's what that light means. That's great.
That's amazing. All right. Oh yeah, who do you mean?
Historically, Samus. I played the original Smash Bros. In 1999. Probably before many of you were born. That's fine.
You look young. It's okay.
Yeah, thank you. It's the red beard. This is natural, by the way. This brown to red transition.
Nice.
Historically, Samus for 20 years. That's the only Smash Bros. I played it until I got Smash Bros. Ultimate. And now my main is random. That's the thing. So when we do, I know. Hang on. When we do Smash Sundays, I like to promote like a casual environment. So we do all items on. Instead of stock, we do 3 minutes. So no matter what, whether you're like, I'm not good, I'm not gonna do well, it's okay. You're gonna get 3 minutes no matter what. And I just want people to come in and have fun. And we encourage everyone to pick random, which is great for people who are kind of new to it anyway. It'll help them like figure out their character. But we have some like really good players. We've had some players come in who've like won major tournaments, and they're like, what? Like, no, I want to play King K. Rool. It's my main. But then after the fact, they're like, hey, dude, thanks for making me play random. It's made me a better Smash player, because it's forced me to kind of like figure out these other characters. I'm like, yes. Anyway. But yeah, kind of Bowser. Random officially, but kind of Bowser is my new main.
That's super cool. I'm very bad at Super Smash. My husband is good. I just pick Sora, and I just play Sora as I would Kingdom Hearts. So.
Sora's cheap. Sora's cheap.
Yeah, Sora's best boy. Don't say that. All right. Okay. All right. So, what are some of your favorite anime or manga right now?
Right now, I'm very excited for Chainsaw Man.
Yes.
I haven't started reading it yet. Someone is sending me, I've been talking about it a lot. Someone is sending me the first volume, but I've like looked into it and did some research. I'm really excited for Chainsaw Man. Previously, it's kind of a basic bro answer, but Cowboy Bebop is so timeless. Yeah. Like, so for those who watch Toonami now, I believe Toonami is Saturday nights like 11 p.m. to like 3 a.m. Back in my day, it was Monday through Friday, like 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. So it was like the after school block. And that was Cowboy Bebop, Gundam Wing, Yu Yu Hakusho, Inuyasha, Dragon Ball Z, of course. And so those are kind of the shows that like got me into it. I will always remember the first episode, and I'd seen like a little bit of like Speed Racer, but like I don't know if that counts. I still remember the first episode of any like real anime I saw was an episode of Dragon Ball Z. Gohan and Krillin were like on Namek, like peering over like a cliffside and looking down at Frieza and the Ginyu Force, messing with some local Namekians. And I was like, what is this show? And then of course I got hooked and watched it forever.
I mean, it's valid. That's Cowboy Bebop is my husband's favorite anime. We listened to the music on the way into work.
Oh yeah, so. Yes. Cowboy Bebop is so good.
Super good. All right, so follow up to that. Who would you like to voice in like some of these shows or manga if you had the chance to?
Well, I want to be Denji.
Yeah, you would be a good Denji. You would be a great Denji.
Well, if only because there's kind of a common denominator with the characters I voice in that they're all blonde boys. I don't know why my voice just sounds like a blonde kid. But I don't get to voice a lot of villains. Like the biggest villain I voice is this character named Isuzu Ichinose and Space Battleship Tiramisu. Very funny show. Pretty R-rated, but very funny. And I'm the main villain, and he is a silly boy, and he is so fun. But so I still haven't really gotten that like villain, you know. And my voice sounds I just sound like too much of a nice guy, I guess. But I really feel like I could sink my teeth into Denji, who's I don't think technically a villain, but like he has villain qualities to him. So yeah, that's what I want to do. If you're talking about my hero, I do have a somewhat long answer for this question, but real quick.
Yeah.
A few years back at Fan Expo Dallas, there was like 12 My Hero actors there, and we did a live dubbing. And I think this was around season 3. And so we did a live dubbing. We all had like little scripts that featured our character in scenes. And anytime anyone kind of did their first line, they got a lot of applause. And so it's a lot of Sabbat screaming, Briner yelling, battle cries, Cliff, he always yells because he's Bakugo, but just everyone's doing all these attacks and da-da-da, and like, you know, I do my thing and yeah. But who do you think got the biggest applause of that event? Todoroki. Yes. It was Dave Matranga, and we all kind of gave him the same look because everyone's screaming their guts out, and then it's time for his first line, and he goes, "Cool." And I was like, okay, I want to be Todoroki. All he had to do was say "cool."
That's amazing.
It's great.
All right. So how has the pandemic changed your work?
Well, at first it stopped. For 7 weeks, we didn't do anything. So that's when I started streaming. So that was the big change. Was I had heard of like streaming and stuff like that. Didn't really look into it. A year before the pandemic, Rico Fajardo, he's the voice of Mirio, was like, "Hey man, you want to come over and play Death Stranding? It just came out." And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And he's like, "Oh, by the way, I'm going to be streaming it." And I was like, "Okay, I don't know what that means, but sure." And I immediately was like, "Whoa, what is this?" He's showing me all the like the camera and like the OBS, and now I know what I was looking at then, but at the time I was like, "What is this?" But then when the pandemic happened, that kind of popped up in the back of my head, like, "Hey, this is something you could be doing while this pandemic's happening." So that was the big change for that, was I started streaming. But then the awesome engineers at Funimation figured out a way to do remote recording. And at first it was in the form of, we call them actor kits, where as actors were being booked and needed to record, and I think at the time it was where they were like, we gotta keep recording My Hero. I think we're in the middle of recording season 5.
Oh, wow.
They were like, we got to figure out how to do this. So it was like literally an iPad, a microphone that plugs directly into the iPad, a stand. Is that it? I think that was it. And they called that the actor kit. Oh, and headphones. And they sent that to the actors. And so they basically were like, they figured out that if you have any sort of sizable closet, like a walk-in closet, that you're kind of 80% of the way to having like a sound booth, because they're usually a little more isolated, carpeted, usually lots of clothes in there, so it kind of already is in. You'd have to put some stuff on the ceiling, whatever. But so that got people back to work on specific shows at a very slow pace, because that required actors to engineer as well, which a lot of them were like, no, I don't want to do this. So that's where I was like, I got this, don't worry. So I was able to do it fine. So that was very different. And then just recording remotely in general is very different, because it requires a little more in general from the actor and the director, because when you're in person, there's like an energy, a chemistry between the two. You can kind of, there's some unspoken stuff that happens that helps the session move along, and that's not there when you're doing it remotely. So there is a little bit more to it. Now, though, we've got Source Connect. We found is actually the easiest way to do it, and so now we're kind of moving at a normal pace, but that disconnect is still there. So that's probably the most different. We are starting to do in-person sessions in some form, like if we're checking for people's vaccination statuses and stuff, and if people are comfortable with it, we're starting to let some people in. But yeah, that was the biggest change, was just the whole remote thing.
So do you still record more remotely or in the studio, like you personally?
Me personally, I'm still 100% remote.
Okay.
Which is great. And I will probably stay. And I actually just earlier this week told the talent coordinator, like, as people are moving in to the building, like I'm okay going in. I'm triple vaxxed. I'll wear a mask in. I'm fine. If it's like a big session, but if it's like a lot of sessions are like, we need you for 30 minutes. Like, it's like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to drive an hour, total, when I could just do it from home.
Right.
So I was like, it's still my preference to record remotely, but I have no problem going in if the director wants me there for like a big session or something like that.
That makes sense. So are there any future projects that you can tell us about that you're excited for? I know a lot of stuff's probably hush.
Yeah. Yes. Does anyone watch Nintendo High? Any Nintendo High fans?
Yeah, we have a few.
For those who don't know, Nintendo High is Foozle. Let me find the YouTube real quick. I think it's Foozle. I can never remember his name, but it's a semi-animated series of like Mario in high school. And it's not just Mario. So the main characters are Mario and Luigi. Great art. And they pulled me in to do Pit and Dark Pit. So I'm the voices of Pit and Dark Pit, which is a lot of fun. But we just recorded what will be my big character for the show. And I'm very excited for it. I can't say what it is, but keep an eye out for episode 8 is the season finale of Nintendo High. And they're gonna show my next character, and I'm very excited.
That's super exciting. We're definitely all gonna keep an eye out, right, guys? Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
No,
Okay.
it's really great. Definitely. It's Foozle. Foozle is the name of the YouTube channel it's on, but you could probably just search Nintendo High and it'll pull up.
Okay, awesome. So I'm on to some, I guess, like my hero character questions. We're gonna go into that. With my hero, like, I kind of want to talk about the voice actors. Who are your favorites to work with? Do you have favorites?
My best bro, my bro Ham. We hang out. We saw the new Batman movie together. We're stream team partners. The voice of Aizawa, Chris Wakehamp, is my bro.
I have my Aizawa shirt on today, so.
Oh, nice. So we're loving all the some of my favorite TikToks that I see or people send me are like the knock on the door and Mr. Aizawa, I threw up. Like that dynamic of like Denki's like the dunce and Aizawa has to deal with him sometimes. We're really loving that stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm a big fan of those. Send them to my best friend all the time.
Nice.
So with Denki, who do you ship him with? I guess this is probably a question you get a lot.
So first, let me drop a disclaimer that no matter who you ship with whatever, like that's perfectly fine. You do you. There's no wrong answer. It's fine. Don't shame someone for their ships. But I love Denki and Jiro. I think they're super cute together.
Yeah.
A lot of people would ask me, what about Shinso and Denki? And I was like, well, I haven't seen really them interact yet. And then when I recorded season 5 and Denki's just basically overtly flirting with him, I was like, okay, I'm down. Denki Shinso, I'm down. But my absolute favorite, now this isn't a ship. I have to make that clear. This is not a ship. But my favorite is, I think it is canon or should be canon that Denki has a crush on Bakugo's mom. I think because every group of friends has the hot mom, and one of the friends flirts with the mom, and she's like, whatever, you know. And Denki, I think, is that friend because he has, I think, this unique ability to like kind of poke and prod at Bakugo without really any consequences. Like everyone else is afraid of him, but Denki's, you know, hey, Kachan, you know, it could kind of get under his skin. And I think he would start like flirting with his mom in front of him to make him mad. And then be like, man, Mitsuki's pretty hot.
It would be like, instead of Stacy's mom, it'd be Katsuki's mom.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm doing a cover coming soon.
Oh God, this would be amazing. What do we have for time, real quick?
3:55.
Okay, so I'm gonna get into some of the fan questions for people that asked ahead of time, and then we'll go over anybody else that wants to ask can ask a question, okay? So Shauna, are you in the crowd at all? No? Okay, she wanted to ask a question, but I'm gonna read it. It says, out of all of the underexposed animes you've worked on, what 3 titles have been your favorites so far and would you recommend to watch?
Okay. Space Battleship Tiramisu. That is probably the most fun I've had working on a show. It is just so silly because for the most part, when working on anime, as you should, you have to stick very close to translation because you're just there to tell the English version of the story. But like with comedies, you get a little more wiggle room because a lot of jokes don't translate well. And then some licensors are like, do whatever you want with this show. Those are the best to work on. And that is Space Battleship Tiramisu. It was so much fun to work on. Definitely watch that. And the episodes are like 10 minutes long, so it's really easy to consume. Like I said, though, is a little rated R, so just be wary. A show I directed called Hinamatsuri. Hinamatsuri came out the same season as Attack on Titan and My Hero.
Oh no.
It was this great show, awesome animation, cute, heartwarming. I had Jared Green, the voice of Shinso, is the main guy. He's like this gangster who this little alien girl falls into his life, voiced by Brina Palencia. And it's just so cute. I cast Amanda Lee, who you may know as Lian Lee. She is Anzu, and she steals the show. It's just so good, but it just flew under the radar because everyone was like, who cares about that? We've got Attack on Titan and My Hero, understandably. But that I think it's a crime that went unnoticed. So definitely go check out Hinamatsuri. And then my biggest lead, a show that is on Hulu, I think still. I voiced Ray Starling in a show called Infinite Dendrogram. Hey, yeah!
Nice.
Nice. If you're a fan of the isekai genre, where like it gets transported into a video game world, it's that type of show, but it's a lot more unique, really well done. It's the more people watch it, the more likely we'll get a season 2 and more, because there's a lot light novels that it's based on. And I just want people to watch it because that was my big lead role, and I put my heart into it and had a great time. But it seems like it went a little on the unnoticed side, which is fine. It happens, of course, but that would be another one I would want people to watch.
I thought of a question after this really quick.
Okay.
What's one of your favorite shows that you've directed, like voice directed? I mean, my personal favorite would be Fire Force, but what about you?
Fire Force is great. Had a blast working on Fire Force. Really no news on season 3, unfortunately. I know. Season four of Overlord though is coming, and I love Overlord. And there's a movie. I don't think there's any news on the movie yet, but yeah, Overlord is great. I'm trying to think. What would be a show that I've directed? Honestly, if you were to pull up my Anime News Network profile, go through, and any show I've directed, I've been lucky in the fact that there's only been one show that I've directed that I did not like, but every other show I've worked on, I've really liked directing. And I've gotten lucky because most directors, like, so when they're like, hey, here's the shows we're getting, give us your top 3, I'm always the first one. Like, I'm like, let me look at the trailers. Okay, and I picked up very quickly that even if the content or the synopsis was odd or weird, if it looked good, that means there's money behind it, which means it's probably good. And so that's how I got. No one wanted to work on this random show called Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. Yeah. And they're like, what? They're like, a dragon is a maid, like, and I was like, I'll take it. It looks really good. And it ended up being one of my favorites. So cute. Love Dragon Maid. But if I had to pick one, I'll have to say Dagashi Kashi. Dagashi Kashi, which a lot of people haven't heard of. Here's the main girl. Someone sent me her figure.
Oh, she's cute.
Hotaru Shidare. Hotaru Shidare is awesome, and that show is so funny, and it's so great too because it was that same thing where it was like the synopsis was like, here's a show that every episode it's just a commercial for a Japanese snack, and everyone else is like, that sounds dumb, pass. And I was like, but the animation looks great. I want that show. And it ended up being so funny. That was Todd Haberkorn as Kokonotsu, the main guy. Tabitha Ray, probably my favorite thing I've ever directed is Tabitha Ray as Hotaru. She kills it. She is so funny. Had a blast on that show. Definitely my favorite. There's 2 seasons. The only downside of season 2 is that, well, no spoilers, but Hotaru's not in it as much. Yeah, that's my answers, Dagashi Kashi.
So Selena and Lisbeth, are you all in the crowd? Yes? No? Okay, if you guys wanted to stand up really quick so we can see you, that's okay. So she asked, out of all the careers, why did you choose voice acting?
Well, I kind of didn't choose it. I kind of fell into it, or I kind of slowly barrel rolled into it. I chose like just kind of working in anime and working in like audio when I was in high school, because once upon a time I wanted to be a video game programmer. I love video games. I was like, I want to make a game. And it took one programming class in high school for me to go, never mind, I don't want to do this. And then I was also really getting into music. Music was a huge part of my identity in high school and to this day. And so then I was like, you know what? I want to be the next Rick Rubin. Rick Rubin is an awesome music producer. If you're a fan of Beastie Boys, Wu-Tang Clan, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Metallica, he's touched Slayer, Rage Against the Machine. He's touched a lot of acts. And just the idea of like being the guy who records that and guides a band or a group and like to produce an album, I was like, that's what I want to do. So I got into the audio side of things, went to an audio recording technical school, and then started working at a studio in downtown. That's when I met Sabbath, and I was like, yeah. And so that was that. Everyone always has this shocking revelation of like, it's like, oh yeah, Funimation, that Dragon Ball Z, yeah, that's in LA. And they're like, no, it's in Flower Mound, Texas. It's like, oh. And so I happened to live in the area, so it just kind of was kismet. So
awesome. Okay, so my next question is from Josh. Do you want to read it or do you want me to read it?
I'll read it.
Okay, let me get the microphone to you really quick. Let me pull it up, and then I'm just gonna hold it for you. Okay, so you just.
Hey, Kyle.
hello.
Do you think? Yeah. Do you think you could give me some voice acting tips? Because I want to go into the entertainment industry like you, and I was wondering, how do you do it? Also, on that name, can you say, "Hey, Josh, you're the best," in Denki Kaminari's voice? Because I would love that. Thank you for
Hey,
answering my question, and best of luck to you.
Oh, thank you. Hey, Josh, you're the best. I hope your 2022 goes beyond plus ultra. Voice acting tips. So there's the official way to get into it, and then there's the side way, which is what I did. So, but that is a legit way, is getting in the industry in some way, shape, or form, and kind of going at it the slow, long process, which is kind of just doing it on the side and feeling it out and kind of building your experience and repertoire and rapport with directors that way. But kind of the official real way is you want to make sure you like acting. Because like I said earlier, there's a misconception that I'm going to be an anime voice actor and that's all I'm going to do. And it's like, that is something you could do. You will not be able to afford anything because it's so infrequent. It's inconsistent. So you should not be an anime voice actor. You should be an actor and make anime voice acting a slice of your acting pie. So start doing theater, take acting classes, improv. You can do community theater, college theater. Theater is really good. It's, sink or swim acting, because you have to convince an entire audience that you're this character and you have no choice. You have to. Where in the booth, you can get multiple takes and all that. Do 24-hour film races and when you're in college, stuff like that. And then you'll really know if you like acting, and then you can start doing paid work, do like commercial work and stuff like that. And then once you build a resume, get a lot of experience, you can cut a demo. Demos are expensive, so you want to make sure you're ready. But you can cut a demo, and then with your resume and your demo, shop that around to agents around your biggest metropolitan area. So I don't know. We're in Leesburg. Where's the closest big city?
That would be Orlando.
Orlando. So shop around. There's agents, vocal agents, acting agents in every city. So you would shop your demo and your resume around Orlando. You would just Google voice agent, vocal agents, Orlando. And if you get picked up, great. And then they will find work for you, which is great. And then you can start looking at you would ask your agent hey, I'm doing really well here. I'm interested in branching out. And they would be like, well, we have an LA representative. We can get you work, especially in now this remote world. They could be like, yeah, we can easily get you work out in LA or Dallas or Canada or New York. But you want to make sure the days of knowing someone or, just kind of I can do this cool voice, let me get in. Those days, unfortunately, are kind of long gone. It used to just be if you're Mike McFarlane would be at a restaurant and be like, I like your voice. You want to be a voice actor? Those, unfortunately, our talent pool is so huge now that we kind of having an agent really is kind of, we need that first step, because that we see that allows us to see that someone else kind of already gave you the check mark of approval. And so that's a lot of, we don't have to worry about someone being brand new. We just don't have the time these days to really from scratch help someone come up, so definitely go for being an actor in general is the TLDR of that.
Awesome, thank you. So my next question is from our Krona over there. If you want to stand up, you can really quick while I read the question. Which is your favorite of the characters that you have voiced and why?
Man, probably, honestly, I've said him twice already, but Isuzu Ichinose in Space Battleship Tiramisu, that was so fun. We got to do a lot of ad-libbing. We got to make up a lot of stuff and have a lot of fun with it. And that was me as Isuzu. Jeremy Inman was the director, and he's just as silly as me. And Leah Clark, who's hilarious, was the writer. So the three of us together came up with a lot of really fun stuff. I did one of my more recent roles is Yo in Dr. Stone. I don't know if anyone's a Dr. Stone fan.
I've had
People? Yeah, okay. All right.
I love it. I love it.
Yo is gonna be really. I've had people at cons look, have you seen what Yo's gonna do and what will be season 3? And I'm really excited because Yo was a lot of fun. It's probably one of the more different characters I've voiced, because he was he started out, well, anyway, I won't spoil anything. But he's one of the more different characters that I've voiced. So that Yo and Isuzu, I'd say, are tied for my favorites, and Denki, of course.
Yeah, I mean, you have to, right? All right.
It's just
so
Denki's so easy for me to get into now because the Venn diagram of Kyle and Denki is becoming a circle. We're like kind of just. I don't know if I'm infecting him or he's infecting me, but like we're both just like laid back bros who just want to hang out with everyone. So
That's so sweet. Awesome. Okay, so we have Adri, Kaz, and V. If you guys want to stand up, I think you might need to move the camera over to them really quick. Sorry, give us 1 second. Other way.
I'm new at this. I'm sorry.
All right, there we are. Do you guys want to ask or do you want me to ask? All right, yeah, let me come over. I'm just gonna hold it and then I wrote down the question.
Hi.
Hello.
I wanted to ask if you could give Denki one other power, what would it be?
I don't know if I would give him another power per se. I honestly would turn him into a melee fighter. Or stay ranged but have some melee ability, because like Denki's kind of set himself up, or he's been set up to be this support and ranged fighter, which is great, but not to get like dark, but like to permanently incapacitates a human being, you need 5,000 volts of electricity, and Denki can generate 2 million. So he could just be buzzing with 10,000 volts and just punch someone and they're gone, So it's like, if he were to just get in there and just like, he could use his powers in that way. Not that I want him to become this cold-blooded murderer, but like, I feel like he could be really clutch in the paint. And so that's all. I just want him to like get in there and I feel like he'd be really useful as a close range fighter.
I'm gonna embarrass Kaz a little bit, if that's okay. They come to our teen program here, and we did glass paintings, and they did an awesome one of Denki. Like,
oh, that's awesome.
Scene. So it was really cool.
That's great.
So I'm gonna ask you some like library related questions since we are at a library.
Okay, cool.
Did you go to the library a lot growing up? Is that something that you like to do?
I did go to the library a lot. I still go. I switched from, I'm a big fantasy reader. Does anyone know the Lost Years of Merlin book series? Dude, that's what got me into reading. So I went to the library a lot, and I mostly read fantasy. As I got older, I got into more like nonfiction stuff, but still kind of to this day. I just signed up for Brandon Sanderson's Kickstarter. Any Brandon Sanderson fans?
Yeah, we get his books quite frequently here.
Oh man, okay. Well, he just released this big announcement that was like, I'm releasing 5 secret books, and I was like, pledge, I'm in. But yeah, I went a lot. And I also I would book check out like audiobooks. I kind of became more of an audiobook person as I was like driving a lot for like work and like going to sessions and stuff. I found that rather than just listen to like my same music albums, it's like, let's read a book. And I really enjoy audiobooks a lot. So there was a period of time where I didn't go to the library a lot, but now I'm going back to check out audiobooks.
Find that a lot. Do you what are your favorite, like, are you reading any manga right now? I guess I should ask first.
I'm about to start, like I said, Chainsaw Man, but other than that, I never super got into comics. I like superheroes. My favorite comic, actually, do I have it right here? Let's see.
Oh, he's grabbing it.
Superman Red Sun is my favorite comic.
Oh, wow.
Actually, I don't know if you can't see it. Where is it? Yeah, no, I have a Superman Red Sun Funko Pop up there.
Oh, cool.
But so I do read some comics, but like as far as any regular comic reading, never really got into it because like you'd spend like $5 on a single issue, and it's like, all right, that took me 5 minutes. And I think that's just because I started as such a heavy fantasy reader. I'm used to just lots of words. And so I'm like, I got to read all the words, and it's like, oh, I'm done. So translating that to, I also never read a lot of manga, unfortunately. Every once in a while I would. There's one, I remember in high school that I really liked where it like followed the samurai. I can't think of what it is, but that was really cool. But yeah, no. Other than, I mean, any show I work on. So I've got a lot of Fire Force and Ancient Magus Bride manga. So if it's for a show I'm working on, there is manga available. I'll read that. But as far as just recreationally, not a lot, unfortunately.
That's okay. So Zach, my husband actually has a question really quick, so I'm gonna hand it over to him.
Where am I? Hey, hi Kyle. It's kind of like, I guess, piggybacks off that last question. And I know you said you don't read a whole lot of manga casually, but are there any series that you have read that have not been animated that you just really wish were?
No.
No.
I'm sorry. I don't read a lot of manga.
Well, I would say go to your local library and start borrowing some manga.
Okay. Well, honestly, I do want to read My Hero. The problem is when you work on anime, and I know anime is not manga, but when you work on anime all day, when you get home, it's hard to muster up the motivation to then read or watch more anime.
Right, that makes sense.
So I'm gonna reveal something. I've only seen season 1 of My Hero.
What? Really? Oh no! Seriously?
I plan. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it. So yeah, it's fine.
I did not watch the show.
There's no time. There's no time. I'm directing.
I mean, to be fair, you are doing like 3 jobs at once.
That's
so,
right. That's right.
Okay, real quick, does anybody have any questions before I continue with mine? Yes. All right. So I'll go with you first, and then I will go over.
All right. Do you ever play like other video games other than Smash Bros?
Oh yeah, dude. So there's 2 kinds of streamers. There's like focused or specialized streamers and variety streamers. I'm definitely a variety streamer. So I play Dark Deception on Thursday. Play a lot of Mario Kart, Among Us, Call of Duty, all sorts of games. Banjo-Kazooie, BioShock. I played for the first time since I originally played it. I love BioShock. But yeah, so the way Tuesdays, I call it Tier 3 Tuesday. And my tier 3s, everyone's welcome to like play and join in with whatever, but my tier 3s in order pick the game. So that's where like I'll get the really weird stuff like Project Winter and man, I can't even think. Really what's the Shantae the genie? I'd never even heard of that, but Shantae was a lot of fun. Ukulele that like follows this lizard. So yeah, I play all sorts of games.
All right. I saw somebody over here, so let me go over here.
You mentioned earlier that there was only like one show that you like directed for that you didn't really like, and I'm curious. Are you not allowed to answer that? Is that?
I don't know. Let's see. You guys have been great. Maybe I'll say it. Because there are people who might like it. Me personally, that was the first time I picked something based off of the like promo art and the synopsis. I went against my usual process and I was like, this sounds like it's gonna be awesome. And this promo art looks great. And there's a lot of good things in it, but overall, the animation was not great. It just was not a great show. Okay. I'll lead you guys on an Easter egg hunt. Let's see. So, time, job, world. That's my clue. Time, job. None of you have heard of this show. So like you're going to have to dig.
I was thinking of something else. Okay, if nobody's heard of it, then we're good.
Time, job, world. If you can figure that out, that is the only show I've ever directed that I did not like.
Okay, so I'm gonna have you, and then we're gonna try to get through these last few people.
What do you think of the comedy anime show named Pop Team Epic?
Pop Team Epic is pretty great. There are some shows every once in a while that every director wants, and everyone wanted to direct Pop Team Epic. Africa No Salary Man was another one. Everyone, if Funimation got it, everyone wanted to work on what is Detective Butt? Like it's a detective that he's shaped like a butt. And it was lots of like toilet humor puns, and everyone was like, please, can we get that show? But yeah, everyone wanted to work on Pop Team, so yeah, it's great. It's really funny. And Chris George, who ended up directing it, did a fantastic job. He followed suit with the Japanese, and because it's broken up, each episode is 2 like mirrored episodes. And he got the 2 leads. I can't think of their names. I didn't. Well, yeah, sure. I didn't hear, but that's fine. Whatever their names are, they're different actors in each segment in each episode. So he was like, I'm gonna do that too. So each episode he got 2 different people, which is great.
Awesome. Okay, so we have Ariel here. I probably mispronounced their name, but here we go.
I actually have a 2-part question. First one is, you said when you go home you don't like to watch anime. So my question is, what is your go-to not anime television show?
Well, hold on. I said oftentimes it's hard to muster the motivation to watch. I have a bias, and it's why I love One Piece so much, and why I had some extra when they were like, you want to direct this? I had no problem working on it. If there are pirates in it, I'm going to like it. So Black Sails is one of my favorite shows. It's a Stars show. Yeah, Black Sails. Naruto there. What you doing with the handshake? Black Sails is great. Assassin's Creed Black Flag is my favorite Assassin's Creed game. Yes. If anyone I play a lot of Sea of Thieves. That's what I play every Wednesday is Sea of Thieves. Anyone play Sea of Thieves? Oh no. It's great. It's great. It's all pirates. Anyway, so Black Sails. Other than that, my wife and I like to watch a lot of like sitcoms. So we love The Office, How I Met Your Mother, just anything, really anything. We're probably about to start Breaking Bad over. It's been a while since we watched Breaking Bad. House of Cards is my favorite show ever until something happened.
So you had a second part. I do.
As a voice actor, is there a voice that you don't usually act or voice that you like to impersonate when you are home alone?
Yes, my wife hates it. So when I was directing Ace Attorney, by the way, I've liked every show I've worked on, and Ace Attorney is so good. We had so much fun on that. And if you were lucky enough to consume the Ace Attorney bloopers before that YouTube channel got terminated, those bloopers are probably my most proud work that I've done. But there's a character, Kent Williams voices the judge. And this happens with everyone where like you're working with an actor. Usually we like to cast people just kind of based on their voice. Because when we get demos, we want to hear what your voice sounds like: angry, sad, quiet, like da-da-da, like, but it's your voice. But every once in a while you do have to put on some kind of character voice. So what happens a lot of time, it's kind of this back and forth, like, okay, try this, do this, do this. And so you end up kind of doing the voice with the actor. Like for a long time, I directed the final season of Fairy Tale, and Brian Massey, I cast Brian Massey as I can't remember his name. Jacob. Anyway, he looked exactly like Jason Statham. And so I was like, well, let's do a Jason Statham impression. I know Brian Massey has a great Jason Statham impression. So then when we were establishing the voice, we were both just basically going back and forth, just being Jason Statham. And so I do that for a while. But the one I still do this day is when I was directing Ace Attorney, working with Kent Williams on the judge. It was just me and him back and forth going, to the defense. And so based on that, actually, I cast myself. So the judge has a younger brother, and I was like, who can do a similar voice? And Kent goes, you. And I was like, oh. And so, yeah. So that voice, I'll be bringing in the groceries, and I'll be like, Kara, I need help. She's like, stop, please, for the love of God.
All right, so this is going to be our last crowd question.
Okay.
Okay, so I have a really dumb question, but I need you to answer in character as Denki.
All right.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what's your favorite number of the alphabet?
My favorite letter my favorite number in the alphabet would probably have to be purple. The line I use to get in character, by the way, is I go, you know, we basically just met you, so it's kind of telling that we all know your personality is flaming crap mixed with garbage.
Jessica, what did you want to ask? Okay, I'm sorry, one more question.
No worries.
Okay. Hello, Kyle. Very nice to meet you.
Hello.
So my question for you is, so exactly how long have you been like directing and voice acting, and were you doing like something else before you got into that, or kind of explain that a bit?
So I started at Funimation in 2008. And I started as an ADR engineer. So I was the one working with a director to record actors. But almost immediately, I started doing a little bit of voice acting here and there. So those were like kind of the prologue of me acting. And so I kind of my first like real, like, okay, when I wanted to take it seriously, or I was like, okay, this is a thing, was when I got cast as Jason in Fairy Tail about 2011. And then I got my first show directing in 2015, I think, when I started assistant directing for Tyler Walker, like on shows like Tokyo ESP, World Breaks, something of the Aria. But my first solo show was Ultimate Otaku Teacher. And that I think was in 2015. And then by then I'd been doing more and more acting. And then I got Denki in 2015. When I auditioned for My Hero, I auditioned for Denki, Aoyama, Shigaraki, and Bakugo. And Colleen cast me as Denki. And it was so funny at the time. None of us knew what My Hero was or what it would become. And so she's like, hey, you're going to be Denki. And I was like, oh, cool. And so we did it. And season 1 didn't do well at all, which is so funny in retrospect. But yeah, that was great. So yeah, I think that's about the timeline. And then from there, just taking acting more seriously.
Awesome. So that I think is almost the end of our panel. Is there any way we could get Denki to say thank you for coming to Anime Day at the Leesburg Public Library?
Hey everyone, Denki Kaminari here. Thank you so much for coming to Leesburg Anime Day. I had a blast. I hope you had a blast. Go Beyond Plus Ultra.
Thank you. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Kyle. It was wonderful having you. It was wonderful meeting you, and wish you all the best.
Thank you. Same to you. Thanks for having me. This was a lot of fun. And hopefully I'll see you guys like on Twitch or something playing games with me.
Absolutely. All right, everyone say bye.